Girl, the glasses. Because you
Okay,
said
you know what? I feel like this
bought
needs to
them.
be in
I was
here.
gonna just.
Thank you for tuning into Lurkers,
The only podcast
where a real-life couple
discusses the internet's top relationship problems.
every week.
We are your hosts,
Lily,
and Rafi.
it's time to get real.
Hello, everybody. This week we have an emotional roller coaster of a podcast.
We got some ups, downs, in between.
Yes.
Okay, so the first topic, a deceitful man who's spewing some grade A BS.
And then we have our first user submitted comment of the week in a while, and boy, gets a little real. But for our final topic of the day, we have a little twofer, but that's on the DL. The main topic at hand is a little bit of discussion on fantasies and role playing. Yeah, enjoy this episode. Thank you. Yeah. Hello,
Hello.
lurkers of the Lurkers podcast. You lurkin' Larrys. What's crackin'? Home slice.
What?
Are you okay?
I don't know. I'm so sleep deprived, Lily.
Same.
Yeah, episode 11.
11. Number 11. I can't believe it. Amazing.
Not the master number, right?
Half of it.
We're halfway there, y'all.
And next episode we will be together in the flesh.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait. Y'all, long distance. It really is crazy. I think everybody draws a different meaning from, like, you'll grow stronger from being away from each other and separated from each other. And, like, yeah, like, on one hand, I do feel like I have more of, like, a sense of, like, the areas that I need to focus in, like, strictly that are on me and stuff, which is dope. But, like, also, I appreciate her time and energy so much more. And, like, there's nothing that replaces the presence of someone that you genuinely love. Aww. And realizing that importance is sometimes difficult to do when you're together every single day for over a full year. And so, yeah, tough lesson to learn, but, like, damn.
I'm sorry I wasn't listening.
So excited. We'll have each other for a week and then round 2.
No, don't talk about it. Round 2 doesn't exist yet.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Yes, I'm in the last week of the term. Meanwhile, Rafi's doing icebreakers.
Yep. Those good old trainings. Today I learned about something called the zero game. And you try to tell a story from your past and not to say the word And let me tell you how difficult that is. Y'all don't realize how much I say because I cut so many of them out. But I still say a whole lot. So yeah.
Does count as an
Yes.
Oh.
So those are all filler words. Those aren't considered necessarily to be executive.
I hate corporate America. Jesus Christ. I feel like all of these trainings have been teaching you how to not be a human being. It's been conditioning you out of your humanity, and
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I'll just stop there.
Yeah, so it's been a day for both of us. It's gonna be a week for both of us. But it's gonna end on an absolutely incredible note.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Yes, we're now in the double digits, so you Lurk and Larrys who are out here, you are loyalists.
You smart. You loyal. You're grateful. I appreciate that.
I just said again. I'm gonna be so violently aware that this episode and it's gonna throw me off so many times. Anyways. Yeah. Shouts out to the Lurk and Larrys out there. Y'all mean a lot. It's an exciting journey we've been on. And let us continue it with the next episode.
Alright, disclaimer. We are not certified mental health professionals. This is for entertainment purposes only. However, if you would like to seek some mental health services or some professional help for your relationship problems, we have some awesome links in our show notes for you to check out. That being said, take everything that we say with a grain of salt. Let this entertain you. Do not let us guide you. Unless you want us to, and then proceed at your own risk.
Oh, also, before we jump into it, I do want to ask this question because this has been weighing on my mind.
Well, tell me, what's the context, and if it's out of context, what is the context? You're not saying anything, Tony.
I'm gonna move around a lot of that. I'm sorry. So I also need to stop saying I'm sorry so much because that's a negative word. And we want to put more positivity out there.
That's a negative phrase. Rafi, please don't take this advice. Like, here's the chart. Here's, like, how much you take this stuff personal. Actually, no. Here's, like, how personally you take what you're learning, and, like, here's how long our relationship is gonna last. Inverse relationship. I know my mathematics. Simple mathematics.
I don't know if I even remember what an inverse relationship is.
It means the more you think the phrase "I'm sorry" is a bad thing. I'm sure you can fill in the rest of the blank.
Word.
You knew on day one, when you were still pure, that they were just training you to be a sociopath.
Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
So, for the first topic of the day, we have a post from you/throw/RA emotional AF for real FR. My husband confessed that he's been having an emotional affair and it's breaking me. I've married my husband for 9 years. We have a son together. Last week, he confessed to me that he thinks he has an emotional affair with a coworker of his. He said that this has been going on for a few months and he didn't feel guilty. He said that he never touched her romantically but had feelings for both of us. He said of course he would choose me over any other woman, but still I've been hurting since I found this out and I don't know what to do. This girl's in her mid-20s. She hasn't had any kids. She's so pretty and she has a piece of his heart. I don't know what I've been doing wrong for him to catch feelings for another woman. This is devastating to me. Honestly, I'd rather he had just f***ed her and had no feelings for her whatsoever. That would be easier. I don't know how I can get past this. We have a family that I don't want to break up and I still love him and he's ending everything with her, but now I feel broken. I don't even know how I can trust him again. I don't know what to do. Edit. I got preoccupied after I made this post. He said he did not feel guilty because it was an accident and he didn't intend for anything to go as far as it did. There were a lot of messages exchanged between them, and he said they went on 2 dates. He also said that they sexted and shared nudes, but there was nothing physical. He said he'd end the affair, but right now we can't afford him to quit the job. He said that he was gonna stop seeing her outside of work and said he's already blocked her on everything.
Bruh.
First off, let me just say, girl, you did nothing wrong other than marrying a piece of shit, and that's not your fault. What are your thoughts?
I mean, also, like, him saying it's an accident. Like, 2 dates, sending nudes does not sound like an accident, and him, like, justifying and being like, oh, nothing physical happened. Like, it's more than an emotional affair. It's also a sexual affair. And also, like, I don't know if I would trust him saying that nothing physical happened because if they went on 2 dates and were sending nudes, I don't know. You also have a child together.
Yeah.
Like Rafi said, like, you did nothing wrong. What should you do? I don't know. Like, if you want to move past it, but like, just like initial thoughts, like, I get you don't want to break your family up, but like, what's gonna break your family up more, dragging this out and like having this distrust and like your husband potentially doing this again and like your son growing up in the middle of this, because like your son is not stupid, children are perceptive, and like what's going to be more damaging to your family in the long term?
Yeah, that's really the decision you have to make. And there's always couples counseling, like that's what I can think of, but honestly I agree with the sentiment. I'd rather he just her and had no feelings for her whatsoever, because I feel like the emotional aspect of it is the most brutal part of cheating. And like, as someone on the other end of being cheated, or the person who gets cheated on, yeah, that's a brutal experience, because it does make you ask things like, what did I do, when the reality of the situation is,
Yeah, he's terrible, Your Honor. He's really terrible.
girl, you've done nothing. You've literally done nothing. You're out here being a wife, living your life, raising your son, and he's out here being a period.
I also retract my statement from before. I definitely think you should leave him, after rereading that he said he did not feel guilty because it was an accident.
Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Huh?
Like, this is a grown man.
Oh, that's facts. I don't even think I processed that. I like really don't even think I processed that. He really said he didn't feel guilty, and he went on 2 dates with her. And shared nudes, and this man said he doesn't even feel guilty.
You're not ashamed of yourself. Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
And like, this is complicated by the fact that she has a kid.
Yeah, and like she might have a degree of like financial dependence and whatnot, but like they've been married for 9 years and they have a son. Their son's not too old. Like, I don't know. But the fact that he doesn't feel guilty and like is not expressing any remorse, like, yeah, it makes sense why she's blaming herself. He's probably like making her blame herself. I don't know. This just like does not sound good. And I would start exploring options.
Why don't you tell me I'm leaving, never looking back again?
I hate to agree. And for the sake of banter and conversation, I will say, I think if you really want to stay with him and you really want to raise your child together because you don't want your child to become a victim in all of this, that is a noble thing to do. And if that's the route you decide to go, which I don't think it should be, but if that is the route you decide to go, couples counseling is 100% necessary, and like getting a professional involved just so that he can understand the effect and the impact that he has had. Because the fact that he's saying that he doesn't even feel guilty is on some god tier.
Baba Booey.
I don't know. He sounds like a narcissist, and I don't think that's gonna change.
That's tea, actually.
You/pebble in your shoe.
They say having dates, sexting, and sending nudes is not an emotional affair. It is an affair. You didn't do anything wrong if he never asks for things to change.
Resident Jabroni says, yeah, acting on those feelings with aforementioned activities definitely is a affair. No physicality needed. It's one thing to have a crush that turns into love. That's an emotional affair. But taking action literally removes the qualifier from it and becomes an actual affair in every sense.
She's got a point.
Pickled Lime says this: I get the feeling OP is being trickle-truthed and there's way more to it. I totally agree. Like I was saying before about it was probably a physical affair as well. He just is trying to put it out bit by bit to see how she reacts, and once she's okay with one thing, letting on another and another. Yeah, this man sounds like a narcissist and a coward. A terrible combination.
Garbage.
You're less than a person if you can't own up for the actions you take. And is that me dehumanizing people like Tucker Carlson and these other politicians for their role in the Capitol riots and people dying? Yes, it is.
Everything is political, I think.
And it is dehumanizing to anybody who doesn't want to take credit for the fact that they've screwed up in the past and they don't want to admit it now, especially when it's something as inconsequential as, oh yeah, maybe I was just trying to make a buck and instead I got people killed at the Capitol. But when it's something on a very personal level that I think transcends all barriers and makes you such a transcendent level piece of garbage, you are effectively inhuman at that point, and you scarcely deserve any type of emotional connection.
There's nothing wrong with my views or beliefs because I have freedom of speech and everything I'm saying is true.
But Holy Fudge says, I was just going to say this. He probably confessed and wanted more from her, but she didn't and rejected him, so he's finally here. Or she gave him an ultimatum or something. Maybe she found out he has a wife and left, but whatever. Nothing changes the fact that he had an affair and he cheated. Went on 2 dates and nothing physical happened. I'm calling bullshit on this. This whole emotional affair, which is a literal affair, calling it an emotional affair is BS. The affair went to the point of sexting and nudes exchange, but your husband is saying it wasn't intentional? BS. That's literally BS. He knew what he was doing when he sent the nudes. No one sends nudes by accident. He knew his actions when he was sexting. No one sexts by accident. And when he took her on 2 dates, what, by accident again? We are to believe it wasn't intentional? Oh, come on. And the worst part is he doesn't feel guilty. His reasoning to not feel guilty makes no effing sense. Like, what the f***? If he loves you, then he should feel guilty even thinking about another woman. But our man here has a whole ass affair, but still doesn't feel guilty. Wow. If he's not guilty, then you know what this means. He caught feelings. Okay, we got it. He can't control it, but every action that followed was consciously made. His actions were not an accident. It was intentional, and he very well knew what he was doing. He kept going further and further, knowing well enough what he's doing. He could have stopped, but he didn't because he didn't want to, because he didn't give a f*** about you. He crossed every boundary knowing well enough it's cheating, an affair, but he just didn't care. He wanted it and then proceeded to act on his feelings intentionally. He had every intention to act and follow through as he did. He knew everything. He knew it would hurt you. He knew his wife and kid is at home waiting, but he just didn't care. He didn't care, plain and simple. You really expect me to believe that a grown-ass man who knows the world, who knows the basis of a relationship, who has a whole-ass marriage, knows how a romantic relationship proceeds, didn't know what he was doing when he was sending nudes, sexting, or going on dates? That he had no idea that this is an affair? What, is he 12? He knew OP, he knew what he was doing and had every intention of doing it and went on for months. He's bullshitting you. Do not let him. He doesn't regret it because he doesn't regret what he did. Simple, no excuses. I have a feeling he's not telling you everything. He's not. I don't buy that nothing physical happened. He's just trying to save his ass. This isn't an emotional affair. This is an affair and he cheated on you. OP, your trust is gone. It's up to you how much you will let him disrespect and humiliate you. But one thing is clear, is that the trust is completely gone and you'll never be able to trust him again. Think, really think. Do not make decisions just by taking his words. His words mean nothing right now. He lied and hid before. He can do it again. He's probably doing it again. Find out more and take everything into consideration before you make a decision. I would be having one more complete, blunt, and very much on-the-face interrogation/confrontation with your husband and ask everything, literally everything. It's important you know the complete truth before you go back if by some miracle you decide to in your marriage. Good luck. You deserve better. Do not forget that. And always remember your worth. Always.
Damn.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't really know like what comments could top that TBH. Besides, someone acknowledges that he's gaslighting his wife, which
Yeah, every comment is just reading this man to filth for being an absolute child.
Also, Cray Monkey gave straight up advice and said, OP, for your son, you have to get out of this relationship. Your husband has already proven to you that he feels no guilt and doesn't care about your feelings. This man went on 2 dates with a girl. She's barely an adult. I know that you might not take my opinion into consideration, but I really hope you do because I'm sorry. But the truth is your husband cheated on you. Once he went on those dates and sent nudes, he crossed the line and you can't come back from that. Imagine this. Your son is all grown up and has a wife. How would you react if you found out his wife sent nudes and went on dates with her coworker? You would probably advise him to get a divorce. The same goes for you. Love yourself, because what that man is showing you isn't love. Your husband doesn't respect you, your feelings, or your relationship. If you won't leave this relationship for yourself, leave for your son. He will learn that doing this stuff is okay when it really isn't. I'm very sorry that you're going through this. I know that you love him, but sometimes you can't just get over it, or at least you shouldn't get over it. Have a good day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And remember, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Final piece of advice. Leave your husband, and I think using the son analogy of like, what would you want your son to do in this situation? Also, is this something that your son... Because I have a feeling your son has overheard some by this point. So yeah, what do you want to teach your son from this situation?
Only thing I can add to that is, if for whatever reason, if you really feel that the best way to raise a son is with two parents in the household, no matter how the relationship is, you need to at least amend your relationship to some extent, and couples counseling is really the only route. But just his lack of expressing guilt really is what made me flip to being like, yeah, this dude's an absolute
Piece of garbage.
yeah. Take that as you will.
Advice number 1 in the books.
In the books.
Y'all hear that?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first user submitted comment of the week in a while. So we're gonna, well, first off, you're not gonna get punished this week, so that's the good part. But the bad part is that this next topic's a little heavy, so we're just gonna get real with it. Keep it 100, you know. And the question is, how do I talk to my mom again after 3 years of not speaking to her? Oof. No, that's a tough question. First off, it depends why you're not speaking to her, but I think that's very loose, because 3 years of not speaking to somebody is an objectively long time, especially not speaking to your mother. And I'm assuming, since you asked this question, you are the one who decided not to speak to her, which is not an easy thing to do. And I assume that there was very good reason for that. That being said, if you do choose and decide to speak to her again, which is, I'm assuming, why you're asking this question, you need to think long and hard about if that's what you want to do and if you're ready. Because, again, 3 years is a long time, and choosing not to speak to someone such as your mother for 3 years, there must have been a very serious reason for that. But my initial advice, if you're going to reach out to her again, would honestly be lay it out there. Explain to her why, and just be 100% honest. Just, like, balls to the wall, pure, unadulterated honesty. Your relationship will never be what it was again. And you, at this point, will get to choose what that relationship is. You have the agency in this situation. You can reach out to her, shoot her a text, shoot her an email, whatever you feel most comfortable with, but lay it all out there. Lay out the rules. This is why I didn't talk to you, but I'm here now and I want to talk. And even if it's just I want to talk, I want to hear that you're doing okay. And maybe we can talk more in the future, like schedule like a monthly talk, a monthly texting conversation, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But I do think you need to lay it out there and explain your reasoning for why you didn't talk for so long. And I'm sure that was something that you may have already said, but reiterate it, because for 3 years for you to feel that same thing is a powerful, powerful feeling, and definitely deserves some brutal honesty.
I would say, first and foremost, how you talk to your mom again is with distance. With at least a degree of distance, especially if you've come to a place that you've forgiven your mother. And I think that's also something that's important, is I think that, like, if you are going to talk to your mother again, and I feel like a good way of knowing that you're ready to is if you can approach her with compassion. You know, if you're still angry about things and you still haven't fully processed or digested them, then I don't think that you're ready. And I think that you still have a right to be angry and right to take time. But if you've been able to find a place where you can feel compassion towards your mother, that's a good indicator that you should talk to her. And then step 2 is actually talking to her. What I mean by approaching it with distance is, you know, it's your mom. Like, in the beginning, like, you or her, or both of you are gonna want to come in, like, arms spread wide, like, hugs and kisses, like, and whatnot. But I think having a degree of distance, just so it's clear, like Rafi said, that, like, things are never going to be the same, and, like, you need to take time to build anew. And I think keeping a degree of distance in the beginning will give you both the space you need to create a new relationship that's founded on compassion and healthy sentiments. You know, like, you don't want to come in guns blazing or hearts blazing. Like, take your time, take your space, but above all else, like, make sure that you're coming at it from a place of compassion and love. You know, not to prove a point, not to get a last word in, but because you're genuinely looking to grow and love. And yeah, I'm just also saying this from, like, a place of, like, personal experience, and, like, that was definitely a mistake I made, not with my mother, but with a mother figure in my life. Was I forgave and I came back in with compassion, but there was no distance whatsoever. And I was quickly reminded of why that relationship was cut off in the first place. And looking back, I wish I had taken a little bit more distance, but I am grateful that I was able to go in with my heart leading, even though my heart was leading a little too quickly.
And I have no personal experience of this, but you coming at this from a good place and you know you're ready to go about this, and or the same thing that got you to stop talking to her happens again, then you tried. And you can't be mad about that, and you shouldn't feel obligated to keep a relationship that's not healthy for you, no matter what the label of this person is. And, like, yes, being a mother is so much more than a label, but if you're not actually acting like a mother, then are you anything more than just a label? Like, that sounds so faux deep, but it's a fact. Like, you are a person who deserves love and deserves care just by the virtue of being human. And if you'd never felt that, or if it was not feeling that being the reason to stop talking to your mother, you need to come back with that feeling and with that desire being explicit, but also, like, yes, like Lily said, like, keep that distance. And yeah, and just, like, to harp on a point, like, you are in no way obligated to talk to your mother, and that is why it's so important that, like, yes, you need to be ready to forgive, and that's a you thing. Like, you need to be ready, and when you are ready, that is okay, but it doesn't matter when that is. This is you, and you need to be okay with it.
I mean, I don't know. Actually, I disagree, because, like, mother isn't just a label. Like, it's visceral, and, like, that connection between you and her is there, but it is your choice whether or not to forgive. And, like, you only have one mom, and yes, we need to not have people that are toxic for us and harming us in our life, but if we ourselves are whole and complete, there's nothing that anyone else can do to make us feel any worse about ourselves. And I would just honestly ask yourself if you're ready to approach the situation with compassion.
I completely see Lily's point. Like, yes, a mother is a very visceral reaction. There is a very visceral connection that you have. Carrying a child for 9 months is not an easy thing. Raising a child is even more difficult. But if in that process of raising the child, you fail to show love and fail to show compassion, regardless of what your label is, you're nothing more than family.
And we also, like, have to keep in mind the difference between failing to show it at times and an entire absence of it. Because bringing you into this world in the first place is an act of giving up of the self and compassion. And it's like, so that is proving it at some point in that.
But a repeated failure to provide that love, and to the point where it feels like it outweighs the love that exists, I think does make you nothing more than just the label, like just personally. I that's my personal philosophy on it. At the end of the day, like, we have our own agency. And most importantly, we have our decision making over what we deem as love and what we want as love. And just because there is a label ascribed to something doesn't necessarily mean that you need to also give that label the same credit that others think it deserves. But there's two fields of philosophy on this, and at the end of the day, I do agree with Lily, and I completely see where she's coming from. Once you are at a place to come at the situation with compassion, then 100% you should. Again, it doesn't have to be full open arms, 100% back in your life, like Lily said. Like, it can be as much or as little as you want or are ready for. But do not be pressured into this. Do not feel like it's something that needs to happen immediately. It is when you are ready. That is my final advice. User submitted comment of the week.
Yes.
Blam. Done.
Keep
Y'all,
on coming.
send more comments in. Yes, please. Hit us up. DM us at Lurkers Podcast on Instagram. Hit us up on our Survey Monkey. Link is in the description of the podcast. You know, you got options. You got plenty of ways to contact us. Some of y'all know our numbers. If you want to text us, like, do what you got to do. But we want to hear your numbers.
English, do you speak it?
Or we want to we want to hear your problems, and we want to help advise you a little bit. Anyways, for the third topic of the day, we're gonna
Did a full 180
and jump into something slightly more lighthearted. Lily, would you like to read?
I would love to. I, 33 female, just found out that my sex life with my husband, 33 male, is based on a specific porn director's scenes, and I'm not sure how to discuss it with him. Not safe for work. Alright. I'm 33 female, and I've been with 33 male for 12 years, married for 6. We got together young, but both had fairly equal experiences before our relationship and have gone through a lot together. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, but nothing extraordinary. We're both as in love as we were at the start. Our sex life, too, has evolved and changed over the years with the usual LTR issues surrounding sex, but we have good communication and both of us are more than happy. The reason for this post is due to a recent discovery I made. Every now and then we set aside a day or an evening for a special sexy time. This usually involves me dressing up in lingerie or outfits. It's long and drawn out. We may play video games, watch a film, TV, play games, etc., eventually leading to essentially him worshiping me. He loves my body and is a bit of a perv, but I can't stress this enough. I like it. It makes me feel good, helps with my self-esteem, and I must admit it feels great. I'm always satisfied, and I love the attention. Now, recently I had to use his PC to sort out some photos I had on my phone because it's a lot more capable than my laptop. Whilst creating file destinations, etc., I came across a folder full of porn. It's not really an issue for me. We've never openly and directly discussed our porn use, but we have joked and both of us have come across each other's use of it, so no biggie. However, I realized that the entire collection was that of a specific actor/director. Hundreds of scenes. And what was most upsetting is that the scenes tend to follow a certain sequence. And I realized that our special sexy time mirrored these scenes almost perfectly. The outfits, the worshipping, positions, sex acts, etc., you get the picture. We even one time bought a treadmill so he could watch me walk. And yep, that's in the scenes as well. Now, I'm no prude. There's nothing in these scenes that upsets me, but it's all quite nice actually. Nothing scary or too aggressive with a focus on the girl, but I can't help but feel a little disappointed, betrayed maybe. It feels like the sexy time we had, what I thought was special to us, has been stolen from some porn director. On the other side, I don't want to stop doing this. Like I said, I enjoy it. Some of the things they do in these scenes, I don't want to do at all. But there are other things we've never done, but I'd like to try. The majority of the scenes have a focus on anal, which we do every so often when I'm in the mood, but it has intrigued me. What I'm asking this sub is, how do I talk to my husband about this? It's been a couple of days and I'm not as bothered by it as I was initially, but I also don't know how to bring it up that I know. I obviously found it by snooping, and he's never told me about his collection. It's obviously private to him, which is fine. I don't want to embarrass him, and I don't want it to affect or stop our sexy times, but I would like to discuss it. Any ideas?
Child. Anyway, so.
Is it weird that I find this, like, vaguely wholesome?
Yeah, no, I definitely think this is wholesome. I agree.
Like, you are satisfying this man's fantasy. And, like... Yo, dudes are weird. We have our things. And you're literally letting him live his dream. And you enjoy it. Like, there's nothing, like, this is nothing you should be upset or afraid about. Like, yes, sure. Maybe it is this very specific porn director who has captured his attention from maybe his youth, maybe his later days.
But their sexy time is tainted.
Is it tainted, or is it...
That's what she's saying. Well, because it's like she thought he was being original this whole time, and he's plagiarizing their sexy time.
You plagiarism.
I mean, fair. That's a good point.
This is plagiarism.
This is kangaroo court, sir.
Then she should call him out on that. She should just be like, yo, I peeped your porn folder and I see that you're on some plagiaristic shit and you need to step your game up. You need to start getting more creative and put your own spin on things. And like push him into his creative realm a little bit. That would definitely spice things up. At the very least.
Just try to think creatively.
Wait, baby, you're breaking up terribly. Rafi.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. See you in a bit.
Yeah, you sounded like you were in the animation we made where everything's like dinging and like.
Hell yeah. Shouts out to the animation. Link is in the description.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like there's like a cute way to bring it up. You know, maybe just like pick one of the really ridiculous ones and then like set it up for him, and like that would be like a funny and sexy way of like letting him know that you know. Like, I don't think you need to say it explicitly, and like
If you know, you know.
If it does bother you that much, like maybe get creative with him and try to come up with some scenes of your own. And I think it's cute that, like, he found something that he likes and you like, and, like, you know, he's taking from the best of the best, it sounds like.
You don't just get to be a porn director, you know? Like, you have to think about this for way too long. Like, you're elite on this level. And, like, it's hard to get to that level, but it seems like y'all been doing it for a while, so I couldn't agree more. Try and get creative with it. I think that could be a fun little project. Doing creative projects together. Good relationship advice in general.
Would you like to read the top comment?
Yes. High on Goofball says, maybe it's kind of like him doing research. He looks at porn and when he finds things he really likes, he saves them and acts out on them. He's doing homework to keep you satisfied and find new things to do. OP responded.
Yeah, I think this is the most likely explanation. I wish he had said something before, but I guess I wouldn't have been as into it if he just said, let's act out my favorite porn. Thanks for your input. Yeah, it's a fact. Like, I don't know. It's not deceitful. Like,
yeah, there's definitely something wholesome about this. Booger sugar sovereigns.
And I don't sell crack. I'm giving the booger sugar.
Says, why does this make your time together less special if you enjoy it? If you found out the dinner he made for you was from a cookbook, or he saw the same dinner being served at a movie and decided to make it for you, would that make the time he took to do something for you less significant? Don't get me wrong, this is funny as hell, but it sounds like he's also spending a lot of time appreciating you and paying attention to your needs during your quote-unquote sessions. He might be a little embarrassed, but since you don't have a negative attitude towards it, I'd just say bring it up. Maybe there are some other things you would like to explore, whether or not those things are inspired by something you saw somewhere. And then OP also responded saying,
Yeah, I think this may be a more accurate way of looking at it, although he's hardly researching. He's only got one director to go off of. You know, if you find something that works, wait, what is it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's the thing, is like, in the scope of like one porn directors that your husband could fixate on, like, this sounds like a pretty lucky luck of the draw.
And yeah, and that's the thing, is it's not any, like, the fact that you emphasize that it's something you enjoy and it's not anything harmful towards you, like, hell yeah. Yeah, sure, it's a little weird. I really like that cookbook analogy.
If you do the cooking by the book, then you'll have
It's also like, I understand, because OP says, I guess I thought that he was creative until I found out about the stash. I guess I'm not worried that he isn't creative, but more that I feel as if my whole date night was filmed over hundreds of times with many different girls and can be downloaded for the whole world over. Almost like an invasion of privacy, perhaps?
Okay, that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, Snoo Opinions replied, oh, he is still creative. He's just taking inspiration from movies. Dude, he literally bought you a treadmill so you can walk on it just so he can admire you. If that's not dedication, I don't know what is. Retweet.
I preach the word, that's my gig, and I rhyme better than Notorious Big.
You know, I honestly can't trust, I really can't trust your perception of me after the glasses thing. That really upset me. Like, how am I supposed to trust you after
Girl,
that?
the glasses... Because you
okay,
said
you know what? I feel like this needs
them.
to be in
I
here.
wasn't gonna just...
Final round. Fight!
Yeah, and be like, return them. I can't, like, I...
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna explain my side of the situation. This is the bonus topic in the middle of our third topic, because it's a very serious one between Lily and I that needs to be discussed immediately. So,
see what had happened at first was
Lily was trying to get a new pair of glasses, and she said she was gonna send me pictures, but she was in the lab, so she couldn't at the time. She gets home, she sends me some pictures, and it's of a pair of one of the ugliest glasses I've ever seen. Like, one...
Wait, let me explain. They were oversized glasses. One lens was a square, and the other lens was a perfect circle.
And they were appalling.
And I sent it to him as a joke, being like, let's see if Rafi's a real one. Like, how is he gonna react to this? Will he honestly tell me if this is no? And what was his response?
I said, yo, those are fresh.
that you could.
You said they were fresh AF.
What was my direct response? Because it was passive aggressive.
You said those are fresh AF.
No, I'm gonna pull up the exact quote. I'm bringing the receipts.
I know the phrase fresh AF was used.
I thought they were so ugly.
But that's not what his response said,
because
he's a little liar, and his response...
No, she is obfuscating the facts of this story, and which she informed me that she had
Find
already...
it right now.
She had already bought them.
It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter
because...
No, actually, I didn't say I bought them. I said these are the ones. I wasn't having a hard day that day, actually. I was having a very good day.
Give me a second, I need to get my story straight.
You've been going in, you've been putting in work. I didn't want to just like shit on you for your decision. You said, good, I picked a pair of glasses. What do you think?
Yeah.
And I was like, one side is round and other side is square, question mark. I'm vibing and still grinding. And then you said, yeah, same. And I said, those are wild, haha. They are definitely a mood, but they are fresh. And then in my next thing, because I was like, that's kind of mean, I said AF. Because I did assume she had bought them in hindsight. But good, I picked a pair of glasses.
Yeah, and you lied, and you still lied, already. Bottom line. You wanted me to be out here looking ugly as
All right, you know what? We're gonna. This is not true. This is not true. You know what? I'm gonna flip this, and I'm gonna make a broader point here, and I'm gonna let the people know: testing your boyfriend, testing anybody you love. Period. End of story. That shit is manipulative. Just be honest. Ask for my honest opinion. I'll give you my honest opinion.
I did, and your honest opinion was to lie to me.
It was a huge movie. It was the lead. No.
You didn't. You didn't ask me your honest opinion. You said I assumed that
I
you had bought them.
did. Why would I want my best friend and my boyfriend to lie to me? Like,
because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to just like
but
shoot
like, how
down
can
your
I?
ideas.
But like, I can never ask you if I look good in anything ever again because I just can't.
Lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies.
How many times have I said to you, I don't know if that's the look? I've said those words to you on multiple occasions, have I not?
You have, and you didn't, and you didn't, and you didn't, and you didn't for the ugliest pair of glasses in existence.
So now, how can I expect anything not to be a test now? Now I'm gonna overthink everything even more. You know,
well
counterpoint.
Then just act with integrity, and then you don't have to worry about it. Then don't lie, and it doesn't matter if it's a test or not.
This is sick. This is sick.
It wasn't a test. It was a pop quiz. Rafi, it was a pop quiz, and you failed.
That's a no. That.
No, it was literally a pop quiz. It was your first pop quiz ever, and you flunked terribly. It was just a true or false, and you said false when the answer was very obviously true.
It was a graded assessment, and let me say that you have worn things. This is
kangaroo court, sir.
Yes. Should I have been honest and told you that they were ugly as hell? Absolutely. But also,
okay. Well, you can just stop there. You don't need to justify it. Like, you can just stop. Just stop there. You had it.
Also, don't pop quiz me.
You got to go and dig those holes.
Man, I'm tired.
I asked you for 2 + 2, and you gave me 78.
This is like you gave me 2 + 2. This is like you gave me 2 + 2 in Morse code, and I was supposed to just figure it out. This is not fair. This is not fair.
Not fair.
Like, I don't have the time.
Okay,
to,
let's
not
wrap up
overthink
this
things,
topic.
you know?
It's we've been recording for almost 2 hours and
whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't care.
Yeah, leave the relationship advice y'all have in the comments. Yeah, final advice for this topic to wrap it all up. This is pretty wholesome. Use it as an opportunity to get a little creative, especially since you like it, and it's something you could do together. Any final advice, Lily?
Yeah, my final advice, if you want to bring it up, which I very much don't think you have to, approach it with some humor, some jest, and yeah, try to get creative with each other and come up with some new ideas of your own. But I don't think it's anything to be upset with him over or to see in a negative way. Like, I think he really just was trying to emulate the best for both of you.
Couldn't agree more. All right. So, episode 11 in the books. It is so late. We're pushing 11. This has been recording for so long. So, it is time to say so long. Thank you for tuning in once again, yet another week. Follow us on Instagram at Lurkers Podcast. Follow us on Anchor. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, whatever you feel. You want it, baby, we got it.
Yes,
thank you
once
again.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lurkers. Follow us on Instagram.
Ooh, put some auto-tune. Yeah, send us your user-submitted comments. We want more. It was nice to have one this week. We love you, anonymous user, submitted comment person, so much. But yes, alas, it is time to sign off.
Have a great week, you Lurkin' Larrys. See you next Sunday. And we're gonna be in the flesh.
Thank you for tuning into Lurkers,
The #1
and only
r/relationship advice podcast.